Good morning, students. In our last class, we have studied or we have studied the chemical properties of acids and bases, in which we have studied the first chemical property, which is the reaction of metal with acid to evolve the hydrogen gas. When we are moving further in this topic, the second chemical reaction, which is the reaction of metal with base. We knew that any metal react with acid, it will evolve hydrogen gas and salt is produced. But is it possible that every metal react with the bases? No, not all the metals react with the bases. Some metals like zinc and aluminium react with not all type of bases, but they react with alkali. So that is the specific reaction in which zinc or aluminium react with only alkalis to form salt, and hydrogen gas is evolved. So we can say metal react with bases to form salt and hydrogen, but the metal should be specific, which is either zinc or aluminium, or the basis which is alkali. So you can see the chemical reaction is written in your screen. Zinc react with the NaOH, which is alkali, to form a specific salt, sodium zincate. You can see the chemical reaction is balanced. Two sodium on the left side and the two sodium on the right side. Zinc is 1, oxygen is 2. So Na2Z and O2 is the formula of sodium zincate, and the hydrogen gas is evolved. That hydrogen gas, which is verified by pop test, which we have already studied in our last class. So the second reaction, which is reaction of metal with base to evolve salt and hydrogen gas. So when we move the third reaction, which is neutralization reaction. You see, the name neutralization belongs to the neutralize something. There is neutralize something. What is neutralizes? Acid and bases are neutralizes each other. So when acid and base react with each other, they will form salt, and the formation of water takes place. So this reaction, up the next question, what is next? The next question comes to into your mind. Why this is called neutralization? This reaction is called neutralization because the H plus releases from the acid and the OH minus releases from the base. Both ions cancel out each other's effect and neutralizes it by forming water. So we can say, in short, when acid and base react with each other and they cancel out each other's effect and forms water along with the salt, is called neutralization reaction. Let's take an example of the neutralization reaction. We have taken the HCl and NaOH and react with each other. This reaction is very fast and it will form NaCl plus H2O. So in simplification, you can see the hydrogen ion which have positive charge, chloride ion which have negative charge, sodium ion which has positive, and OH minus is negative. So they interchange their ions and the formation of NaCl took place, and HOH, we combine HOH, which is H2O. So this is the reaction simplification, which you need not to write in your examination. You need to write only the chemical reaction involved in it, which is HCl and NaOH gives out NaCl plus H2O. That NaCl, which is sodium chloride, or we can say common salt, which we used in our kitchen, or we can table salt. Another example, when the H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid, and the KOH, which is strong base, potassium hydroxide, react with each other, they will form K2SO4, because the formula is K2SO4 plus 2H2O after balancing the chemical reaction. Next example you can see in your screen, HCl, hydrochloric acid, react with the KOH, potassium hydroxide, it will form a salt which is potassium chloride, KCl, and water. Basically, the formation of water took place because of H plus and OH minus is called neutralization. So the next reaction, which is reaction of metal oxide with acid. Metal plus oxide is called metal oxide. So whenever metal oxide react with the acid, it will form salt and water. You can see the reaction in your screen. Copper is a metal, combines with oxygen, it will form copper oxide, or we can say cupric oxide, CuO, plus H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. They both react with each other and exchanges their ion, and they will form CuSO4 copper sulfate, which is salt and water. You can see the salt and water is formed in this during this reaction, and we have taken the acid in the left side. So this reaction is similar to the neutralization. This reaction is similar to the neutralization because salt and water formation took place. So we can say the metal oxide is basic in nature because in neutralization we knew that acid and base react with each other, they will produce salt and water. So in this reaction, acid is there and metal oxide is there, and they will form salt and water. So in our simple language we can say the metal oxide is basic in nature. So what is the question which will come in your examination? Okay, what's the nature of metal oxide? Is it similar to the neutralization? What are the product formed when the metal oxide react with the acid? So these are the questions which will come into your exam. But the most frequent question is, what is the nature of metal oxide? The nature of the metal oxide is basic in nature. In opposite, we can say the reaction of non-metallic oxide with base. So let's talk about the non-metal. You can see in your screen that fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, these are the non-metals which we used in our periodic table. So the non-metallic oxide react with base, it will form salt and water. Again they will form salt and water, and the left side it is base. So what's the nature of non-metallic oxide? Acidic in nature, because that reaction is also similar with the neutralization. So we can say non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. You can see the reaction, chemical reaction, carbon dioxide react with the calcium hydroxide. They will form calcium carbonate and water. Basically this reaction is whitewashing. CaOH whole twice is a lime water, or we can say chune ka pani. When we whitewashed on our walls, they will react with the carbon dioxide and they will form a white layer which is made up of calcium carbonate, and the water will be evolved out. So that reaction belongs to the whitewashing. But in this reaction, the carbon dioxide, which is acidic in nature. So the non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, and basically again I noted down one point that CO2, SO2, NO2, these are the non-metallic oxides which are very harmful, and actually they are related with the acid rain. So which gases are related with the acid rain or responsible for the acid rain? Carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide. So these are the gases which evolved from the greenhouse effect or the industries. They will come with the clouds, and when the rain comes out, that rain is in acidic in nature. So we can say the acid rain have non-metallic oxide. So these are the reactions, or we can say the chemical properties of acids and bases. So far we have studied the first reaction, which is reaction of metal with acid. The second reaction, which is reaction of base with metal. Third reaction, which is neutralization reaction, in which acid and base react with each other to form salt and water. Fourth reaction, which is reaction of metal oxide with acid to form salt and water. And the last reaction, which is non-metallic oxide, react with the bases. In next topic, we will start to identify the strength of acid on the basis of indicators.